So in Gulfport, and he came on last, and he had a huge impact, and it was great. And I came back, and several times in my classes, I had actually mentioned Ricky and what he was about, and what he spoke about. And Mark Parks, a couple months later, Mark is walking down the hall, and he holds up this book. And he says, "Hey, Holly, I'm reading that guy's book." And I'm like, "What guy?" And he's like, "The guy that you were always talking about." I'm like, "Let me see the book." I'm like, "Who have I been talking about?" And I was like, "What? He wrote a book?" I had no idea that he was writing a book. But Mark found out that he was writing books, so I was immediately impressed. And I said, "Oh my gosh, we got to check this out." So we decided to start a book club because of this book. And it was the first book that we read here at RE/MAX Center. We started the book club, yes. And it was really cool because after we read the book, we found out all kinds of other things about Ricky. He's got a coaching company, and he's got a Facebook group. So a lot of us had joined his Facebook group and started following him. And I guess it was about last week, Mark had called me one evening and said, "Hey, I've been talking to Ricky, and he's going to be in town next week for an event yesterday. Tony Robbins and Gary Vee were speaking at a success thing, I think it was called. And he's offered to come in and do a little hour session, tell a story, and do a Q&A. And I was like, "That's fantastic." So thanks to Mark for kind of keeping in touch with Ricky. And I hope that you all follow him. He's got a great message, and we really appreciate you taking time out to come and share a little bit about who you are and what you've done, and just answer some questions from RE/MAX Center. So thank you. Let's give him a
Thanks, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. This is an awesome office. I came in and I was like, wow. If you ever come down, has anybody ever been to Orange Beach or Gulf Shores? Mm-hmm. How many people has actually been to Gulf Shores, Orange Beach? Really? All right, I guess Mark's not the only one that hadn't been down there. We've been giving him hell because he hadn't been down to Gulf Shores.
That's in Florida, right?
We went to eat last night, and even our waiter had been down there, little guy, for spring break or whatever. But anyways, like she said, how this all came to be is we met last year. We did a talk in Gulfport, and then she hooked me up with Mark. We've been talking back and forth. He actually told me about the Gary Vee, Tony Robbins thing yesterday. So I was like, I'm not going to miss that because I watch both of those guys. And so it was really cool. I mean, I'd never been to one of those, so we're jumping up and down and screaming and stuff like that. Wasn't it cool? Mm-hmm. Guys, give Carla a hand real quick. She's my little videographer today. Future Mr. Ruth, actually, are going to get married later this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, me and Mark started talking. He told me about this, and then next thing I know, we're doing a Facebook Live. Ricky Cruz is going to be in the house. So really made it a big thing. But yeah, the talk last year in Gulfport, I had been kind of writing the book for like a year, and I'm not a writer. So, but I knew that I had such a good message because I've been doing this for so long. I sold 100 properties a year for the last 4 years. And just knowing what all I went through, and then watching newer agents come in and stumble because they don't know what direction to go in, bothers me. So I started trying to write this book, and it was a long process. And when I actually did the talk in Gulfport, the reaction I got from it overwhelmed me. I was just amazed by the positive reaction and how what I said actually got through to some people. And they really reached out to me. So that gave me the inspiration that I said, I need to finish this book. I need to do this. I need to do that. And put everything in place to get this message out to people. So I want to kind of set the tone. I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm not one of these speakers that's just going to talk a bunch of stuff and get y'all hyped up and stuff like that, because that's not what this is. I'm about business, and I really, really want to get through to somebody in here. I really want to change the way you think about real estate, because 90%, 80%, 95%, the majority of it is really how you think. from when I first started real estate, I think differently. I mean, one thing me and Holly were talking earlier, she's not going to like that I say this, but she said, "What CRM do you have?" And I said, "I don't have one." Right? Don't say that. But it's the truth. How do you know how to call people? How do you know what to, how do you keep up with people? I don't. It's crazy to hear that, but I'm trying to, I want you to get in my brain. I want you to know how I think. And then maybe you can take something I say and apply it. When I call somebody and talk to them, I'm pretty much forgetting about them right after that call and I'm moving on. But I'm just person after person after person, thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. I'm trying to help the world. If you get hung up on one prospect, one deal, and you just get kind of hung up, that's what holds a lot of agents back. They just get hung up on one deal. They don't see the big picture. The big picture is we want to do 100 deals a year. If you do 100 deals a year, over 5 years, you're doing 500 deals, right? So if you're going to do 500 deals in your career, 1,000 deals, 2,000, 10,000 deals in your career, one deal really is really, really small. It's just really not a make it or break it situation. So I understood that really early on. And so I don't put too much into each deal. I'm more interested in massive amounts of deals. So I want to kind of change your mindset and everything. That's really the purpose of what I want to talk about today. But real quick, I want to kind of run through like my journey, for like a couple seconds. I started in 2002. Before that, I roofed houses with my father. He had a roofing business. So he had me and my brother on a roof when we were like 8 and 9. And when I was 12, by the time I was 12, I was laying shingles. Okay, and so I did that all through my teenage years. I roofed houses. I really contribute a lot of my success to that time in my life because by the time I got in real estate, I was such a high production mindset, because in roofing you get paid for how many shingles you lay. And so I was a shingle laying machine, And when I got in real estate, it's like the transition was, what can I relate in real estate that was like roof? Wow, I mean, I'm used to production. I'm used to getting paid for what I do. How can I transform this career that you don't really get paid for what you do into something where you get paid for what you do? And so it took me 8 months to make my first sale. And when I figured it all out, and I figured out that cold calling was the equivalent of laying shingles, and when I got in that mindset where I said, as many phone calls as I make, that's how much money I'm going to make, that I related laying shingles to making phone calls, that's when I just started blowing up. So in 2002, I got in, I made a lot of money in the boom, the real estate boom. Then the market crashes, and I lost everything. Went bankrupt, went back to roofing, worked on an oil rig for a year. That was kind of a hard time in my life, but not really. I mean, it was kind of a shocker because I thought, here I am, I'm going to sell real estate forever. I'm retired. I got it made. I got $1 million, and then boom, I lose everything. So it was a shocker, but it wasn't necessarily a real hard time in my life because for me, whether I'm roofing, real estate, or back to roofing, working on oil rigs, back to real estate, it's all work to me. I'm going to get up in the morning and work all day, 10, 15 hours a day, because I love to do it. Because when I was born into the roofing business, you don't know any different. You just love to work. And so when you love to work, when you love what you do, that's what gives you motivation to do it. If you don't love what you do, you're not going to be real successful. That's just the bottom line. But, like above helping people, which is when I was little, I knew that I wanted to help people on a big scale. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money, and I wanted to help people, and I wanted to take money I make and help even more people. You know, that was kind of my thing from an early age. And I knew that that's kind of what I was destined to do. So it just happened to be that I grew up in a blue-collar family that owned a roofing business. And so now I have kind of the power of both. You know, it's like I love to help people and I love to work hard. What's up, Adam? This is Adam Mullis. Does everybody know him? He is an agent at Chapman Hall.
Yeah.
Right down the road. We hooked up on Facebook, and he's just an awesome person in general, a true inspiration. But what's even better is yesterday he actually found out he's cancer free. So let's give him a hand. True inspiration. You guys should make friends with him on Facebook and go have coffee with him one day, because you'll actually you'll be inspired, you'll learn a lot, and you really just need to network, and because he sells a lot of property too. So, but anyway, let's talk about how many people in here, raise your hand if you have lost a deal lately. How many people has lost a deal recently?
Everybody.
I'm really worried about y'all, because if you haven't lost a deal, that means you're absolutely not working. So let's try that again.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So, okay, let's.
What's recent mean?
What is losing a deal then? I mean, it's where you were up against some other agents trying to get a listing, and the owner picked somebody else. Maybe you had something under contract with the buyer or seller, it fell through. Maybe a listing, they decided to take it off the market. I don't know, but how many people in here have lost a deal this year? Okay. I'm still worried about you.
Me? Well, I'm not actively in the market on the management side.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
there saying, go.
There you go. All right, so it happens to me all the time. I wake up, I look on MLS, and I see properties that I thought I should have listed. Owners that I thought that I had a relationship with, that I thought, man, how did this happen? You know, how did I lose this? You know, when you lose a deal, how does it make you feel? Defeated. Mark?
Next. What's the next one?
You don't know how it makes you feel?
No. It makes me feel, disappointed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Disappointed. Broker. Pat.
Disappointed.
Disappointed. Any other answers?
I used to get mad when I lost it.
Mad, disappointed.
Or the question, what could I have done differently?
Right. Well, does anybody in here feel super happy when you lose a deal?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes? Like if it's a client that you're ready to get rid of? I can relate to that for sure. But speaking on that, part of being super successful is being able to kind of mold into and be whoever you need to be be likable to everybody, whether you like them or not. And you really have to do this with agents in your market. There's a lot of agents out there that you might not like, but you're going to do business with them, and you have to be professional. You have to be likable under any circumstances. Being likable to people, even though you don't like them, is a huge trait. But back to the losing deal part. When I lose a deal, and this comes from losing so many deals and realizing what it actually is. Okay? When I lose a deal, I'm happy about it. Okay? For several reasons. Number one thing you have to realize is that if you're going to be super successful, you're going to do lots of deals, you're going to lose a lot of deals. You're just not going to get them all. There's too many agents out there. You know, not everybody's going to like you, so on and so forth. But when I lose a deal, the first thing that I gain from that experience, is experience, right? So the experience I get from losing the deal, it's like I'm chipping away at being a better agent. You know, it's like you don't notice it right then, but you just learned something. You think back of the way that whole thing happened from start to finish, and you think, you think about how you talked to the person and this, that, and then the moment you realize they chose a different agent or the deal fell through, and you think back through it and you gain a little bit of experience. See, real estate is knowledge. You can read books and you can go to seminars and you can listen to me talk and watch my videos and stuff. But if you don't go do activities and gain experience in the marketplace, then you're never going to, you have to have the knowledge and experience. You have to have both. You can't just, like new agents, they come in and they just read a bunch of stuff and, go to a lot of things and think they know everything. But they lack that real life experience. And so each deal that you lose, it's like you're chipping away and becoming a better agent little by little. Okay? You also gain knowledge. What could I have done differently? Maybe there was nothing I could have done differently. Maybe I did everything I could do, but now I realize I'm not going to win them all. Now I realize I'm going to do everything I can do, but maybe it doesn't work out. That's okay. Maybe you gain the experience and knowledge that it's okay and to move on. But the one I really like when I lose a deal that I get back is time. So like, I'm doing a little training now, right? So agents in my area, some of them are like, oh man, this guy, he's selling 100 properties a year in our market. Let's see what he's talking about. So I'm training some agents in my local market. Some of them are going out. I had a buddy I grew up with, and I've been training from day one for like 6 months. He went and he got a listing from some people, and they actually told him that they were going to call me. And but he got the listing because he called them, and he talked to them, and he developed the relationship, and he got the listing. And he told me about it, and I was like, great. Awesome. Because what happens is now I've learned something. I have a little more experience and knowledge. It's like, what could I have done? Maybe I should have kept up with those people a little more. But also future time. Like the time I would have spent going to meet those people, signing the listing, taking the pictures, putting it on MLS, dealing with the showing request, negotiating the deal. There's a lot of time involved in a deal. Okay, so when I lose that transaction, now I can take all of that future time that now I have back, because now I don't have to spend it on that deal. I can take the future time, I can take my experience and knowledge I just gained from losing that deal. Now I'm a better agent with more time on my hands. You see what I'm saying? You have to change the way you think about losing deals and stuff that happens negatively. You can turn it around and think about it exactly. You're a better agent now. Now you have more time to go get more deals. So when he took that listing from me, I was like, okay, I'm going to go get 10 more in that same time frame. It motivated me to say, oh, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I need to call some of these guys that I've talked to a long time ago. Maybe I need to reconnect and say, hey, how you doing? What can I do for you? You thinking about buying or selling? Or something of that nature. Now I'm going to take that and use it as motivation. So, just changing the way you think about stuff like that. Has anyone ever thought about it that way? Everybody thinks of losing deals as something negative or something disappointing or something frustrating. And I see it as opportunity because, like I said from the beginning, one deal is not your career. If you're gonna do thousands of transactions, if that's what you really want to do, then one deal means almost nothing. It's very important, but in the whole scheme of things, when you lose one, it's like that's nothing. That just makes you a better agent. And so you use that to go forward and be a better agent.
I think it's great to think about the time factor that you're getting back and to motivate yourself to make more calls. I I never thought about it like that. I mean, I used to tell people, well, you're probably being protected from working from someone you shouldn't have worked with. But to your point, what a great motivator to take it and say, I'm going to go get 10 more with that. I love that. I think that's just a great way. And I think something you said earlier, I see a lot in just dealing with a lot of different people is hanging up on one deal for way too long. Like an appraisal issue can paralyze people for 5 days. Oh my God. Where you just need to go get 10 more clients. I mean, so I think that was a great point that you made. Maybe you'll talk more about that.
There's people, everybody can handle only so much, right? I call it your cup. You know, everybody's cup is a different size. Okay, your cup represents how much you can handle at one time. My cup's very large. I have genetically, I have the DNA. I can handle so much at once. One big reason for that is because I don't worry about anything. Like I say, when I do a deal, I do it, I forget it, on to the next one. I kind of let the process take care of itself. If there's a problem that comes up, I'll take care of it, and I smash the problem quickly. Yeah.
Can I ask questions?
Go ahead.
You said you move on and you forget about them. Does that
Yeah.
mean you're not doing a lot of repeat and referral business?
I do repeat. That's most of my business.
So you're freaking about them. They're just not
See, I did a quote on Facebook that said, think speed in your business until you're in front of a potential client, then think quality. Okay? See, I on the speed part is where I'm forgetting everybody. And I don't care because I'm just trying to get more. But when I actually get on the phone with somebody or in person with somebody, now the time stops. Now, I throw my phone away. I don't care about anything else except for them. And so I come across to them that I care so much about them that once they deal with me, they will never deal with anybody else. And they know that if they were to call me back, they know that I stop everything for them, whatever they need. So it's a double-edged sword. Because if I'm not in front of clients and I'm just working to try to make it happen and get to 100 deals a year, then I'm thinking speed and I don't care about anything. But as I'm making my calls, trying to hurry up to call the next one, once I actually get to the one where I'm talking, somebody answers, now everything stops. When I'm in front of people, it's quality. And when I'm not in front of people, it's speed. So I care in front of people. I don't care when I'm not in front of people. That's the way you have to be to grow big. Because the amount of people and prospects that you need in your database of people that actually care about you, the number that you need in there is so big that you can't even conceive how big it needs to be to get where you want to be. You're so far behind of where that number needs to be of people that actually care about you and you care about them. That you have to think like that. You have to think, I need massive amounts of people. You have to think speed, and you have to think quality so that you can retain them. So the quality time that I spend with them is what retains them for the future. I have very few people that once they deal with me, never deal with me again. Very few. Even if they don't hear from me necessarily in a while. The glue that holds my business together is a weekly email report. Okay? It goes out to over 10,000 people. Over 2,000 people open it up every week. These are all past clients, people that I've dealt with, people that I've got their phone numbers from over the 15 years of cold calling for years, right? If you guys want to start receiving my weekly report that I send to my clients every single Wednesday so that you can see what I do, you can text list to last, all one word, list to last to 22828. It'll ask for your email address and then you'll be in there. But that email, every single Wednesday for 10 years, through the deepest, darkest parts of my life, through vacations, through changing companies, through oil spills, market crashes. Every single Wednesday for 10 years, that report has went out to my database, no matter what. No matter what. If I'm on vacation for 3 weeks, I'm going to do 3 of them before I leave and have it set up to where it goes out. Right? Stuff like that. If I know I'm going to be busy Wednesday, I'm going to do it Tuesday and have it ready to go out. Nothing matters more to me than that report going out every Wednesday. Because when you do that for so long, it creates the relationships for you. It shows them how consistent you are, how hardworking you are, how dependable you are, how professional you are, how knowledgeable you are. That's the glue that holds all my clients in my little funnel. I use Constant Contacts. So
you do have a CRM.
Well, all it has is their email. All it has
I
is
knew
their.
I'd find something.
All it has is their email address in there. I don't know if I should say this, but people will call me and say, "I've been getting your email for 5 years now. I'm ready to buy or sell. I'm ready to do something." And I'm like, "What's your name?" I don't know who they are. Okay, because I'm just so forward moving. I talked to them 5 years ago, got their email. We had an amazing conversation. Guys, when you talk to somebody, a prospect, normally that's the only time you're ever going to talk to them. So you have to take full advantage of that one conversation and make it count. You have to make such an impression on them, that one call, that they never forget you. And if you can, if you make an impression on them that you really care about them, you don't care about the deal, they remember that, right? But then they're still, even with that, they're still going to forget about you in a couple of days. You could call them back 2 days later and they're going to say, "Who is this?" Right? But if they saw how much you cared about them and felt comfortable enough with you to give you their email address, now you got something. Because now we can email them every week. Now they'll never forget you. Now 5 years down the road, they decide to do something. Ricky. I'm going to call Ricky. I've been getting these emails for so long, and when we talked the first time, it was like so amazing. I realized how awesome of a guy he was, how knowledgeable, professional. The emails are amazing. So that's a big part of what I do. And when I lost everything and went bankrupt, worked on an oil rig. As I got back into real estate in 2008, I didn't sell anything between 2005 and 2008. And during that time, I realized what I did wrong. I didn't create the relationships. Because when the market was booming, all I had to do was call 10 owners and say, "Who wants to make $100,000 a day?" One of them would do it. I list it, put it on MLS, sell in 24 hours, close in 30 days. They went their way, I went mine. I would just call 10 more people, do a deal, 10 more people, and I would never hear from these people I did deals with ever again. That's the way the market was. And they didn't want to do a deal, because now they just bought it for $100,000 less, sold it for $100,000, and they don't want to buy another one for $100,000 more than they just paid for one. They took their money and run. So I didn't have relationships in place. So when the market crashed, that's why I crashed, because I didn't really have a real business. I didn't have a true business with relationships in place with property owners. So in 2008, that's when I got back in, and I started selling foreclosures to buyers. There were so many foreclosures on the beach. I started selling foreclosures to buyers. And that got my foot back in the door of real estate. And then I was able to financially breathe a little bit, and then I was able to actually go full time and get back into listings and going crazy. In 2010, I came to Remax, Orange Beach. That was the year of the oil spill. And the oil spill was a mini recession for us. That year was really weird. And I took all the lessons I learned through the first crash about relationships and applied it during the year of the oil spill. Because once I started selling in 2008, it was all about relationships. I want to be like your family forever with all the clients that I started getting from there on out. And so the year of the oil spill, it's like I was like, I've tested out my little theory about relationships in place and making it through a crash. And I made more money that year than I did the year before, even though it was horrible that year. And that's when I thought I got it. You know, like I figured it out. I can make it through crashes. You know, I figured out how to do consistent closings every month. And that's when I said, okay, I'm ready to go to Remax and pay this huge desk fee every month. The desk fee is what scared me. I always wanted to be at Remax because that's where all the top agents were, but I was scared of that fee. So that's when I made the plunge. From 2010, that's when I like really started blowing up. In 2014, me and my dad were technically a team. We were number one in the state in 2014. I've sold 100 properties a year since 2014 as a single agent. May was my best month ever. I did 160,000 in commissions, and I also got 17 listings during that month. So if you see, closing a lot of deals, but I'm also able to create a lot of new business all at the same time. And that's what you got to figure out. You know, that's how you get to consistent closings. How do you have closings while still getting new business? A big part of it is having a great assistant. I have a great assistant. That's a big part of it. You have to have a great assistant to be able to do both, because if you don't, then what happens is you do what you need to do to get deals under contract, but then since you don't have an assistant, you actually have to do the administrative part of those deals. Then when they close, now you don't have anything under contract. You got to go back to prospecting. Now you get stuff under contract, and so you just kind of are riding this wave until you get an assistant to do your administrative work. You'll always be like that, or somebody doing some kind of administrative work where you figure out a system in your head that works for you, to where you can do nothing but create deals. I think that you know, having an assistant and, you know, being able to consistently have deals you know, correlates very closely together. And the moment that I needed an assistant, so you can't hire an assistant too early. You know, you can't say I'm going to hire an assistant so my business blows up. That's not the way it works. An assistant does not blow your business up. You blow your business up, and then you hire an assistant. That's the way it works. If you hire an assistant before you blow your business up, then you're not going to blow your business up, because number one, you haven't blown your business up, so you don't know what you need your assistant to do. So you don't even know what to train her on. And secondly, the time that you're spending training her before you blow your business up is taking time away from you being able to blow your business up, right? So it's just not a good idea. You need to put the work in. People don't want to work. People don't want to work. Like they want to try to get around this whole work thing. Hire an assistant. That's going to help me blow up. You know, hire somebody to make my phone calls for me. That's going to help me blow up. You know, you can't delegate the most important stuff. Okay? You can't. You have to do it yourself. Okay? As an entrepreneur and a real estate agent, you're building every realtor you're building your brand, your name as a brand. Okay? There's no way you can build yourself as a brand if somebody else is talking to the people for you. Only you can be the one that creates the relationships. You know, that's how you're going to become known, is by being the one that is awesome, that does a great job, that is super professional, that, you know, will bend over backwards for them, that Ricky did it, not somebody I hired, right? So to get where you want to be, you have to work a lot. There's no way around that part of it. But the moment I needed an assistant was when I had 30 listings. You know, I didn't have an assistant. I got up to where I had 30 listings, and the showing requests from other agents was overwhelming. And so all the showing request time was taken away from my prospecting time. It's preventing me from growing my business. And I was like, oh, I gotta get an assistant. See, when you get to the point where you need an assistant because you're so busy and it's preventing you, your busy work is preventing you from growing your business, that's when you need an assistant. Not before. Okay? Yeah.
How many hours a day do you do, Jen?
All day. Maybe not phone calls, but all day. I'm doing something. I'm reaching out to people in all kinds of avenues all day long. When I started in real estate, to answer your question, I made 100 calls a day for 2 years. And there was no Facebook, there was no dialing systems, okay? None of that. In today's world, I'd be scared of a new Ricky. I would be scared because you can literally make 500 calls in a day easy with a dialing system. You know, I stayed up all night, looked up phone numbers of 100 people, all night till midnight or so, to call those 100 numbers the next day. Half of them are bad, you know, left messages for half, whatever. Talked to like 5 or 6 people out of that 100 people I looked up all night. I'd work 14 hours a day just to talk to 5 people a day for 2 years. I would connect with maybe 1 or 2 of those. So I got 1 or 2 people a day. 1 or 2 people a day for 2 years is a couple thousand people, 1,000 people. Okay, but I would rather have a database of 1,000 people that I talked to that felt good about me enough to give me their email address, and we had a great conversation, and I'm starting to build rapport, and I actually talked to them and had a conversation, than a million Zillow leads that doesn't answer my call, that doesn't return emails and all that stuff. I'd rather have 500 people, property owners, that know who I am, who told me that they don't have a relationship in place with another agent. You know, if they were to buy or sell something, you know, oh, you don't want to do anything right now? Well, I understand. Well, look, is there an agent in the area that you would work with if you wanted to buy or sell? That's the tagline. That's the door opening up for you to create the relationship with them. They don't have a relationship in place with another agent. That is open invitation. If you do what you're supposed to do, okay, with that property owner, because sooner or later they're going to want to buy or sell. Maybe it's 5 years, 10 years down the road, but if you pre-qualify them as someone who doesn't have a relationship in place with another agent, you know, when I cold call, I do my thing, you know, how's the weather, and, you know, there's a house down the road, and is there anything I can do for you? Of course it's going to be no, 99.9% of the time, okay? But that's what I'm looking for. Okay, well look, is there an agent in the area that you would work with? No? Okay, well look, one day you're going to want to buy or sell something in the area, and I would just like the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Is it okay if we stay in touch? Cool. What's your email address? That's how easy it is. If you know what to say, you know, the conversation can only go so many ways. If you know what to say in those 1 or 2 directions it could go, and you know how the conversation is going to end up at the end, to get the email address, to see if they have a relationship already with another agent, you win. That's a win. You just made a deal. Maybe it happens in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but you just did a deal. The email address is the game, not the deal, not the transaction today. The email address, because they're going to do something later. Yes, ma'am.
What are you going to say if they say, well, yes, I've got an agent in the neighborhood?
I say, what's his name?
And it's John Smith.
I say, okay, I know John Smith, even though I don't. He's a great agent. You're in good hands. If there's ever anything I can do for you, please let me know. Have a good day.
Really? You
Bye-bye.
leave it at that?
Bye-bye. They've already X'd me off with saying that they don't want to do anything today. Okay, that was 1 X. Now they're saying they have an agent already. That's 2 X's. I'm done with them. I got to go to the next one. I'm going to make thousands
You
of
would never say, because if they don't have, if they haven't signed something, you would never say, well, you know, if things don't work out that with them, here's who I am. I'd be glad to work.
I don't care about that.
You
Because
don't?
I'm low pressure.
Okay.
If you don't want to deal with me, then great.
Okay.
I don't have time for that.
I-
Right.
And I think too, like to your point, you know, there's a lot of agents I'm working with now. I'm like, ask for the appointment. You know, like when you're just having, you know, someone's calling off of a property or internet lead. And I think what you said about if you ask for email, I love talking to salespeople. It's fun for me. So like whenever I see a number I don't know, I'm like, oh, I hope it's a salesperson. But one thing about me though is it's really hard for me to say no when someone asks me in person. Like they'll ask me for my email. And I'm thinking to myself, should I give them my email? But I just give it. Most people are like that. They'll give you, we don't ask enough. And I just know that that's true because when you're calling expireds or for sale by owner, I'm always saying get their email address so you can put them on the home finder from your website so you're keeping them up to date with what's going on in their neighborhood. That's critical. And a lot of times people, oh, I didn't think of that. So if they're not thinking of that, then they're not asking for the email address. So I think it's so true. Just ask. What can they say? No. Okay, so
Well,
what?
and that low pressure approach also,
Yeah.
I mean, you already ask them if they have an agent that they have a relationship with. And when they say no, let's say she's not to give you their email.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what you do. Here's how to get the email address. You say, see, the thing is you when you know how the call is going to end up, when you've made enough calls, and you, I made this little thing here. This is my coaching website. I made this little thing. It's called a circle prospecting roadmap. It starts with the beginning, the different directions it could go, all the way to getting the email address, right? When you know how the call is going to end up, it can only go certain different directions, and you know how it's going to end up every single time. It can only end up with, here's my email, don't want to give it to you, not going to buy, I already have an agent, hang up on you. There's only 5 or 6 different end results of a call, right? When you know that, and you know exactly what to say in every little instance, you have so much more confidence when you make the call. Okay, when you know how it's going to go, and you know what you're going to say, and you know how everything's going to work out. So when you have that confidence going in because you know what to say, then your voice, the way you're breathing, you know, how nonchalant you are, how much you don't really care how if it goes right or left or if they love you or not because you'll just call another person. Once you understand all that, then you get better at phone calls because you're more calm. And when you call people, you're calling them to as if you were family, right? Because if you see, you know, I say, hey, this is Ricky from Romantic Orange Beach. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Just enjoying this beautiful weather outside today. I'm going to talk about something non-real estate related, right? That's how I open up. And the weather thing, that's like I don't know what you call it, but that's like one of those deals where it's not really about the weather. It could be getting ready for Christmas. Just had a great Thanksgiving with the family. Just, you know, it could be whatever's going on. You just have to throw something in there that doesn't go straight into a sales pitch of some weird high pressure thing, right? We want to make family with these people. We don't care if they do a deal today at all. So the sound of your voice is what solidifies that. That's what makes them feel comfortable with you, right? But how you get the email address is once you get to that part in the conversation, you've went through a conversation, and you've got to a point where, you know, once you're that far, they feel comfortable with you up to a certain level. But the way I do it is I ask them if it's okay if we stay in touch, and I let them answer that question before I say what's your email address. It's all right here, but you ask them. Say, yeah, you don't have an agent? Okay, well, look, one day you're going to want to buy or sell, maybe 5 or 10 years down the road, but I would like to work with you. I would like the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Is it okay if we stay in touch? That is very low pressure. They're like, oh, absolutely you can stay in touch. My goodness gracious, you know? Yeah. And then you're like, okay, good, what's your email? And then sometimes, see, email's very private. So if you just came out and asked for the email, maybe you got maybe a low chance to get it, right? But if you ask them the way I'm telling you to ask, you got a lot higher chance to get it. But if they still say no at that point, I do give it one more little push, and I say, I understand, but look, here's the thing. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to do all this crazy stuff. I just want the opportunity to stay in touch with you, you know. Nothing crazy. You can cancel all my stuff. You can unsubscribe. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, just give me a shot. You can take a stab at it. Take a little stab at it if they say no. It's okay to be a little bit high pressure there because they don't have an agent that they have a relationship in place with. And you made it this far in the conversation. You're only going to get one shot with this person. I never call anybody ever again. I got one shot with them because I'm moving on. And so I have to try to take that one last stab to get the email address. Because if I get them into my funnel, my weekly report, it's over. I'm going to get them at some point. My hopes is that I get them at some point with that. Now, if I don't get them, if I talk to them, had a great conversation, got their email address, later on down the road, they don't decide to go with me, 5 years down the road, I wake up, listings on MLS, I think, man, I talked to that guy 5 years ago. Man, it sucks. I should have got that. I'm thinking to myself, but here's the thing, Ricky. I did everything I could do to get it, and it just didn't work out. You know, I can't call that person every year and check on them. Got too many people. Got thousands and thousands of people. I can't do that. I did everything I could do to get it. It didn't work out. That's okay. Look at what I do have. You know, I'm over 70 deals closed so far this year. Just me. I'm over 26 million closed this year. Just me. I got 20-something properties under contract. Just me. So I got to look at what I got. I got to understand there's enough for everybody. You know, that's why I'm not worried about telling people stuff in my market because it's unlimited. Business is unlimited in real estate. That's why if one or two agents could take up all business, we would all be out of business. You can call people 24/7 for the rest of your life and never even scratch the surface. Because once you did get through all the owners in Atlanta, then you'd have to go back and call all the people that bought something or flipped something or knew people in the area. You have to go back through and call all them. But you'd never, ever even come close in your lifetime. Okay? And
What time of day do you find the most success?
I don't.
with your calls?
Never pre-qualify. I don't think, are they at lunch? Are they at breakfast? Should I call? Are they at work? I don't
When do
pre-qualify.
you start?
I normally, when I make my calls, I do 9 to 12. Yeah, and when I made 100 calls a day, it took me all day. So I did it from 9 to 5 because I was dialing the numbers like this and leaving every single voicemail. So I didn't have a dialing system. So I did it from 9 to 5. But I don't pre-qualify. I don't worry about what time somebody's going to answer my phone call. It's like I try. If I get them, good. If I don't, that's okay too. You know, they're going to see my signs around town. They're going to see my billboard. They're going to see my Facebook ads. They're going to see my postcards. You know, I'm hitting them from all different angles. So eventually, they'll either see that they like my style and they want me, or they don't like my style and they want one of the other 500, 600 agents. Right? There's enough for everybody. So,
Who are you targeting in your calls? When you say cold call, I mean, you're calling
property owners.
just in general, just
Mhm.
neighborhoods, or
Mhm.
okay.
Let's see. Leads. Where do most of your leads come from?
Mine's referrals.
Referrals. Anybody else? Is referrals the only source of leads that you guys get at this office?
Sphere.
Sphere. Does anyone do for sale by owners?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expireds. Mark
One
does.
in the back.
Door knocking.
Door knocking. Internet leads. Does anybody do that?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you do internet leads. Not very much, huh? What I want to get some answers. What do you guys think constitutes a high quality lead? Like, what would you say the highest quality lead? What are characteristics of high quality?
Somebody who's ready right now.
Ready right now.
Have a conversation about real estate.
Have a conversation about real estate.
Somebody just has a conversation about real estate. To me, okay, the highest quality lead is a lead that I spend the least amount of time with and make the most amount of money. Okay? That's the highest quality lead to me. That's what I would constitute as a high quality lead. Somebody I'm going to make the most money on without having to spend as much time on. What would you guys say, like as a buyer, what would you guys say would constitute as a buyer that you spend the least amount of time on, make the most amount of money? I'm going to wait.
Can you repeat that again?
What kind of buyers, like what characteristics of a buyer would make it to where you spend the least amount of time, make the most amount of money?
Decisive, qualified.
Uh-huh.
Show them one place.
Quick need right there. Going to be homeless soon if they don't buy.
Yeah. almost.
Motivation. Cash
In a
motivation.
week or two.
One thing that I really believe in is educating buyers, right? And I think that when you have to spend time educating a buyer, like a first-time home buyer or somebody who doesn't own property already, when I have to educate them about what insurance and taxes and utilities and all this stuff, that I'm like, oh my gosh, what? This is driving me nuts. I'm spending a lot of time trying to teach these people the ABCs of real estate, right? That, to me, that's kind of, those are low quality leads, right? And I know that constitutes like first-time home buyers, which is the reason I got in real estate. I got in real estate because I wanted to help people, and I thought, I'm going to help first-time home buyers. Okay, until I helped a couple of first-time home buyers, and I thought, I don't want to help first-time home buyers, right? That's not what I want to do. Because what I realized really quick is that the time that first-time home buyers take is so massive. You make such little money per hour compared to other buyers, and the big one is that it takes so much time away from other prospects that you could be helping. So you think in your mind, I'm saving the world, I'm helping a first-time home buyer. But what's happening is you're taking time away from being able to help 10 other people simultaneously. That one first-time home buyer might take up the time that you needed to spend with 5 other clients. But you couldn't get to those 5 because you're helping this one that's taking up a lot of time. So now, instead of helping 5 people, you only help 1 person. It's one of those things. I'm trying to change your mindset. You got to think about what you're doing. So, what is a buyer? What is a buyer that you think you would have to educate the least?
Someone that's already bought a bunch of homes or
And an investor.
second home.
Property.
Y'all got one. Property owners, right? Property owners already own property. They already know the ins and outs of it. They know what taxes, insurance, condo fees. They know all the stuff. They know what it's going to take to remodel the place. If it's an investor, they already know what they want. They're totally experienced, totally educated. So when you deal with a property owner who wants to buy a property, that's the highest. There's nothing higher as far as quality goes of a buyer than a property owner. Because they already know what they want. Okay? They already know what they want. They already know how to get it. They already know all the ins and outs. You don't have to spend your time educating them. You take out all the education time that you spend on other prospects. Okay? What's another great thing about property owners?
They have a property to sell.
They might list their property. So when you deal with strictly property owners, then you have an opportunity to not only get a listing. I know where you're going with this, but this is just this is how I built my business. I don't do anything with property owners because they're the highest quality prospect. There's nothing better. Maybe you get an internet lead that is a property owner, great. But if you could do something where 100% of your efforts goes towards the highest quality prospects, why wouldn't you do that? Right? So they already know what they want as a buyer. They're the highest quality leads as a buyer, and they might be a listing. The listings are the best thing in real estate. Their listings are the best multiplier of your time as a real estate agent in the history of real estate. You can pile up your listings, like I have 60 of them right now, but I'm able to come speak to you guys while 500 agents are trying to sell my listings for me as we speak. Right? If I had 60 buyers right now, what would you rather have? 60 buyers or 60 listings? Okay, so listings work for you, right? And the market itself is working with you. It's like going downstream. You're in a boat, water's going this way, and you're just riding it, right? But when you got 60 buyers, now you're fighting against the market. Now the market's working against you. Okay? So why not spend all your time working property owners as buyers and as listings? You got 2 avenues to go with each prospect that you come in contact with. And if they buy, they're the highest quality buyer. And if they list, that's the best thing in the world, right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I want to change your mindset into the fact that what's the highest quality lead? It's spending the least amount of time with the maximum amount of returns. Okay? It's not are they pre-qualified or that they know what they want. But I will tell you, do not turn a buyer down. I love buyers. Okay? But I don't advertise for buyers. Okay? I work buyers on a referral type basis. So let me break that down for you real quick. Agents that kind of just come back to working referrals only, they've worked, they've done some deals, now they're kind of living off the referrals. Now their business went like this, now they're working off referrals, now it just plateaus. Which is fine, if that's what you want. It's all about what you want out of it. But if you want to continue to grow, you always have to get new business. New business is the only thing that grows your business. You can't live off old leads unless you're just going to be like this. So that's how. But I work my buyers like I'm fixing to retire. I work those as a referral business. The buyers, come to me in forms of referrals. Buyers come to me as sellers that want to buy, okay? Or maybe a buyer wants to buy one of my listings, they've seen it online. I'm going to take all those, but I don't get very many of them. I may show property 2 or 3 times a month, okay? Because I'm not going after buyers, But if they come, I'm like, yay. If you get buyers all the time, you're sick of buyers, right? But if you only get like 2 or 3 a month and you get one, you're like, yay, let's go do this, even if they don't want to buy anything. Okay, so I work my buyers like it's a referral business. I work my sellers like I'm trying to grow my business. So I'm very actively trying to find new prospects in the seller side of it, which sometimes they turn into buyers. I work my buyers like it's a referral business. So one more thing, and then I want to get to maybe some Q&A. You guys have any questions? I did a quote on Facebook. The more time I waste on people, the more money I make. Okay? The more time I waste on people, the more money I make. And what it means is everything's about the relationship. I don't care if they're not going to buy anything today. I don't pre-qualify buyers. Okay? If a buyer approaches me and says, I want to go look at all these properties, and then I decide to keep that buyer as one of my clients, okay? And I'm not going to refer them out. Sometimes I may refer them out if I'm too busy or whatever. But if I decide I'm going to take this buyer, I'm all in with the relationship. I don't care if they buy now, next year, 10 years. I don't care about that because I'm going to get their email and they're going to get my weekly reports. And if I spend the time with them now, you never know where that's going to lead. You know, I mean, you spend time and show them that you care, even though they don't want to buy anything, they're going to be like, man, this guy's like over the top. He knew I didn't want to buy, but he still spent a half a day with me showing me stuff. Now, you made that decision to do that, knowing going in that they probably aren't going to buy. Okay? You made that decision, and at that point, when you make the decision, it's not about the deal. It's about them. You know, it's like Mark in the coaching business I'm doing. It's like, you know, he heard about me, read the book. He went on my website and signed up for the free coaching call. I call him. We talk. We had a conversation. It went really well. He was talking about, I'm thinking about picking a coach or something like that. And then I call him back a week later. So I'm like, you found a coach? He's like, no, I'm still thinking about it and all that. At that point, I could have said, screw Mark. He ain't gonna do nothing. You know, the heck with Mark. But because I don't care about if he signs up for my thing, I could care less. I actually genuinely care about Mark and want to help him. I stayed in touch with him anyway. And now here I'm talking to you guys. You never know where something's going to lead to. If you show a buyer something you know is not going to buy anything, you spend that time with them, next thing you know, they didn't want to buy, but their dad wanted to buy. Right? Or they referred 2 or 3 people to you within a year because they thought you were so awesome. Now they're getting your weekly reports. Now they're like, yeah, you need to call Ricky. Now you've got like 3 or 4 referrals out of a buyer that never bought anything. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to change your mindset a little bit. When you lose a deal and, you know, and then you start to see the good side of losing a deal, you start to see that all the time you got back, the future time is the most valuable asset there is. You can replace money, you can't replace time. Once time's gone, it's gone. If you lose your money, you can get it back. When you lose a deal and you realize, I have all this future time and I'm smarter, now I can take this better agent that I've become because of this and the time and go get more deals. But another side of it is, when you lost that deal, if you did what you're supposed to do on the relationship part of the deal, you didn't lose the deal. For example, if you had a listing under contract, it's your seller, the buyer's financing fell through, nothing you could do to save it, it went south, but you weren't scared to call the seller and tell him straight up, the deal's falling apart, this is what we need to do, you know, let's go to lunch, talk about it, whatever. You did what you're supposed to do for him, because you can't control the outcome of a deal. It is out of your hands. The universe is going to do what it wants to do on every deal. You do what you can do to make it work, but it's really out of your hands. That's why I don't worry about my deals that are under contract, and I just keep moving forward to find more deals, because those deals are either going to work or they aren't going to work. I just don't worry about it. Do I check on it from time to time? Yes. Do I look at a list of them and go through it and say, yeah, I think everything's good? I might call a couple of the owners or buyers and say whatever, it takes me 2 seconds to check on my deals. And then I'm looking at, okay, where's my next deal coming from? I need to prospect, when I need to do this, I need to send this letter out. What's my next thing to make some more deals happen, right? But what I'm getting at is say you have a buyer that is under contract, the financing fell through, it's your buyer, but you didn't just write them off. These people will never buy, just blah, blah, blah. You treated them like family, like you're supposed to do. That deal may turn into, maybe they get their credit right. A year later, buy something. So you got to understand that when you lose a deal, maybe you did lose it forever. Maybe that seller that was interviewing 3 agents that didn't pick you, Maybe whoever they picked sold the property and that deal's just gone and it's gone forever. You did what you did everything you could to make it happen. But a lot of deals that you lose, you still have that relationship. And so don't think of it as a loss. Think, I got knowledge, more experience, more future time, and I still have that relationship in place. I have deals fall through all the time, and then we just put it back under contract, or find them another property, or, whatever the case may be. So I want you to really think about what losing a deal really means. It's a great thing. If you're going to do thousands of deals, you're going to lose more than 1,000 deals to get there. I want you to think about who the highest quality prospects are in any market. It's property owners that own the property in the niche market you want to sell in. If you want to sell $500,000 homes, then all you need to do is contact people that own $500,000 homes, and it's unlimited. There's more $500,000 homes in Atlanta than you can ever call in your career. And the thing is, if there's one dominant agent in a subdivision and you think they got it sewed up, I can't do nothing, they're in there, I'm not even going to touch it. Actually, subdivisions like that are the easiest to hit up because it's scaring off all the other agents. And this one dominant agent, since they're the only one that's really in there, they're talking to all the other owners. Well, there's owners that don't like that agent, right? And when you start making your calls, you're going to find that there's a lot of owners in there that's looking for an alternative other than that main agent. It's actually a better opportunity to call subdivisions and condo complexes that have a dominant agent in there than it is to call other places. It's a huge opportunity that people are scared of. So I want to change your mindset. Go after stuff that there's dominant agents of, because it's scaring off everybody else, and there's huge opportunity for you. So I think that's it for my spiel. Thank y'all very much for listening. Was it good?
Yeah.
Let's get into some Q&A, because see if anybody has any questions.
So when you're making your calls and you leave voicemails for people, what do you say?
I just say, this is Ricky Caruth at Remax of Orange Beach. Give me a call back and my phone number. I might say I'm calling you about this subdivision or that complex. I might say I'm calling because I sold something, maybe, right? But when you make calls and you're leaving voicemails, it's all about how you feel about them, right? So when you're making, say, 100 calls, and you get halfway through the calls, and let's say you're using a phone script, right? Let's see. In this part, this talks about the market information. I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but a house down the road sold, or a house just listed, and I didn't want to take up too much. I didn't know if there's anything I could do for you today, right? Well, when you're given that's your little moment of your little thing that you're going to try to get them interested in something. After 50 calls or so, if you're not getting the response that you want, and you're just not feeling it, you're not feeling confident in that part of it, change it up. Change it from a house was just listed down the road to I just sold a house in the area, or just change it to something. Same thing with voicemails. You might leave 4 where you don't say any market information, and then say, I need to say something. It's all about how you feel, and you're going to adjust. You're going to change it up. If you do 50 calls and you're just not feeling it, then change it. And then, I do it all the time. I'll call 100 people, and 20 calls into it, I won't feel great about it.
Thank you.
Hey man, here's a card and a book.
I have it. I bought it.
Okay.
He's in the book club.
So,
I haven't even read it.
Thanks, man.
He's honest.
It's like,
He said he emailed it.
He said he did. Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
No, he said I did.
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, I make adjustments all the time because if you're not feeling it, you're not getting the response you want from the people you're calling, change it up. Because I'll make 20 calls and I'll say, this isn't working, and I'll change it to something else, and then I start getting the response I want. So don't be scared to make adjustments halfway through your calling session. You know, if you're not getting the response you want, if you're banging your head against the wall, making 100 calls a day, and you're not getting nowhere, change it up and get something that works. You know, and keep trying different stuff until you get something that works, and then say, oh, I hit something. Now we're going to double down on that. Now we're just going to hit that.
Do you leave voicemails?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever call them back after you leave a voicemail?
No, ma'am.
No.
But shouldn't you, if you're leaving a voicemail, give them a reason to call you back?
You can.
I mean,
To me, it's like brand. It's brand recognition. They hear my name, they hear my phone number, they hear them with Remix of Orange Beach. They're going to see my signs and billboards. You know, to me, it's brand recognition. I don't care if they call me back. I'm trying to get my name out there. You know, a lot of people that call me back when I'm making calls never listen to the voicemail. They just saw a missed call, and they're just calling that number back. You know, and they're like, "Hey, who is this? I just missed a call from this number," and then I go into my thing. So you can. It's all about how you feel. If you feel like you need to leave information about the market or a reason for them to call you back, then do it if that makes you feel good. I think the more important thing is that you're getting your name, that they hear your name and your phone number and your company. I think that's the most important thing. All the other stuff is personal preference. Yes, sir.
I'd like a 7-part question.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
How long have you been coaching agents? What is the early breakthrough that you find with most agents? And after you have the agent in the coaching program for a while, what is the next big breakthrough you keep them going?
Okay, so how long have I been coaching? Actually, all this happened about 6 months ago. What was the next question?
What is an early breakthrough? I know you're talking
Most
about
of the people
speed
that
and moving
most of the
on.
people that I talk to, there's so much garbage out there, guys. In regards to real estate and what direction agents need to go in, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, because this is the real deal. This is work your ass off. This is no shiny penny. You're gonna get 1,200 leads this month. This is we're gonna sell 100 properties in 5 years. I'm gonna set you up a foundation to do what I've done, which is 7 years take over your market and be the #1 Remix agent in your area, right? So the biggest kind of breakthrough is that most agents that come to me, they've already been coached by another coach, and we'll start role playing, and they're so in this expired listing for sale by owner mode of this high pressure stuff, and so it's been real interesting to take those people and get them to quit calling all that, because the thing about for sale by owners and expireds is this, guys. It's a high pressure situation. They want to sell. Other agents are calling them too. They're tired of hearing from agents, but you got to try to put it on them. And you got to have some kind of quick little thing, because they want to sell. They're going to pick somebody. So you got to be the one that does some kind of high pressure deal, right? I don't like that, because the owners have their block up. They're like anti-realtor during that time, you know, because they're hearing from so many of them. They've heard so much crap from other agents that they just don't want to deal with you. So you can't even start a relationship with them because they're so anti-agent during that moment, right? And they're hearing from so many people. So when you circle prospect, when you pick a neighborhood out and you call the owners in that neighborhood that aren't hearing from other agents, they're glad to hear from you. They're glad to hear from a Remix agent. They want to know what's going on. Now you got a better chance to start a relationship. They don't have their block up, you know. And if you follow the roadmap, then you get to where you need to be. You get their email address, and now you got them. So taking the agents that have been, their mind has been twisted up, because guys, to me, there's no money in for sale by owners and expireds. There's a little bit. I've done for sale by owners and expireds, and I've gotten some deals out of it. Whoop-de-doo. But I haven't created a database of 10,000 owners who love me out of it. I haven't created 100 deals a year. If you know anyone selling 100 for sale by owners or expireds in the world, raise your hand. If you know anyone who's selling 100 properties a year or more, circle prospecting and just relationships with property owners, raise your hand. Me, right? So I'm against that. I think that the for sale by owners expireds gig for coaches is kind of like the coach's easy way out. Like, these are hot leads for people. Let's just get these new agents to do this. We'll get them all excited. We'll get them on this $1,000 a month program, sign them up for 12 months, make them sign a contract. It's BS. It's not longevity. It doesn't set you up for 100 deals a year ever, right? It just gets you excited and you get in there and then you get frustrated because you can't compete with the other agents that are more experienced that are actually going to get the for sale by owners. I'll tell you what for sale by owners and expireds do that's super positive is it gives new agents experience. There's nothing else that'll give a new agent more experience quicker than calling for sale by owners and expireds. New agents need to, it's not part of my program because I'm so against it, but new agents, and I will tell them this to their face, they need to call for sale by owners and expireds because they need to talk to people on the phone that are ready to sell. They need to get their blood flowing on the phone. They need to go see the property. They need to meet people face to face on an appointment. They need to go show property. Maybe they get the listing. They get to sign a listing agreement. There's all kinds of experience that comes out of it. But I think you should do it for a month or two, get some experience, and then move into what really makes money. Circle prospecting, right? For the longevity of your career. That way you can make it through any market crash, so on and so forth. What was the other question?
Well, you're only 6 months into coaching. I was going to ask, after you've had somebody in the coaching program, you know, people generally hit a wall. You know, they've been following this way to get business, and then all of a sudden, whether they get tired of doing that, then they go look for the shiny penny.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep people from chasing the shiny penny?
You can't.
Yeah.
They're going to do what they want to do. I mean, agents, everybody's different. And everybody's going to make their own decisions of what they think is best for them. And you're right. There could be people that get into Zero to Diamond and then say, this is too much work, and go somewhere else. Well, then they're not going to sell 100 properties a year. You know, if they're going to try to hide from work, then it's just not going to work for them. I mean, that's just the bottom line. The shiny penny stuff, there's nothing out there that creates business fast. You know, there's some stuff where you might get a couple deals and get excited, but is that going to happen consistently? You know, you have to cast your web across thousands and thousands of owners to have consistent closings and build a huge business, right? Otherwise, it's an empty business.
Can you talk about, I guess it's probably more of a mindset, but and it really piggybacks on what Pat said. People will start things, and if they don't get that traction, so I kind of go a little bit against your FSBO and expired, because there is someone that has a need, and when you're starting or getting into this business, so it's hard to do things for a long time when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm into this 2 months, and nobody's ready. I'm creating these great relationships, but nothing's hitting yet. So how do you coach people to stay the course, regardless?
This is what happens. People, when I start coaching them, they start doing what I say. What happens is they start to have these breakthrough moments where they do exactly what I tell them to tell the owners, which is what I've already given you guys, and they start to get email addresses. And they say, man, this works. And they think, man, because this person told me that they would use me later when they get ready to do something, and they think, man, this is going to work. I just have to keep doing it, right? But here's the next breakthrough is you're working, trying to build this future business, this, your dream. But if you do it on a large enough scale, this is where people mess up. They don't do it on a big enough scale, consistent enough, right? But see, what happens is when you do it on that large enough scale, consistent enough, you get all kinds of deals now. You run into people that want to buy now, that want to sell now, right? Because the first thing you're doing when you call them is you're asking them, do you want to do something right now? That's the first thing before you get to what's your email and all that stuff. So you're asking them, that's the first thing is, do we want to do a deal today? And then when they say no, that's when we're setting up the relationship for the future. See, if everybody you talk to, if you can either get a deal out of them now or have some kind of system in place to retain them as a client later when they get ready to do something, that's when you go big. Right? That's when you go big. And people don't take advantage of the fact that they're talking to all these people. They're trying to get a deal now. They're not thinking about long term. They're trying to get it. They don't have a system in place. They try to get a deal now, and then they just kind of forget because that person didn't want to do anything now, or they put them in some kind of weird system where they're getting some emails about what color the walls need to be in fall, or how to make shrimp etouffee and all that stuff. Right? It's BS. It needs to be about the market stuff, information people actually want about closed sales, new listings, pictures of the area, articles about the area. Sign up for my weekly report and you'll see what I'm sending my clients. It has to be streamlined to where it gives you everything all the people want.
Go off in your...
Ricky, how much time do you spend on your weekly blog or newsletter to come up with that information?
An hour a week. I spend an hour a week on it. I do it myself. I do all the work myself because that is an extension of me. That is what represents me to all of my clients. And if there's a mistake on there, then I want it to be my mistake. I want it to be my typo. I want it to be put the wrong link on the hyperlink. I want it to be my problem. If I give it to somebody else, number one, they're not going to do it as good as me. Okay? They're going to have more problems than me. But let's say they have the same amount of problems as me. I don't want that to be on somebody else because now I'm going to kill them. Alright? You know what I'm saying? They don't need that. They don't need me. That's a lot of pressure because this is my baby. The weekly report is my baby. Right? It's my baby. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend an hour on it. I'm going to think of something creative because you got to get people to open it up every week for 10 years. How are you going to keep people interested every single week for 10 years? To where you send 10,000 out, over 2,000 are opening it up every single week. How do you do that? You got to be a little creative. Right? But I have new listings, I have property search, I have closed sales, articles, featured properties, a webcam of the beach. And so some of my clients open it up because they want to see the new listings. Some of them open it up because they want to see the closed sales. Some of them open it up because they want to search property. Some want to see the article. Right? Some want to see the beach because they're not down there. They want to see what the weather's doing or whatever. So I have elements in my report that can cater to a lot of different people. Maybe people don't click on every little thing, but they want to see what the new listings are every time. So they're going to open it up. Then this person wants to see the closed sales. So they open it up every time. So I have a little bit of everything in there, but it's so easy to read. It's not jumbled up with a bunch of words and a bunch of stuff, and you're like, oh my God, I don't speak Chinese. Right? It's like, boom, you'll see. See when you sign up for it. It'll come every Wednesday.
What was that again?
You're gonna text one word, list to last. One word.
T-O or two?
T-O. List to last to 22828. Keep it going.
It's going dead.
Going dead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Deal with it. Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been on a team, or have you always been an individual?
I've always been an individual. Me and my dad are technically a team, you know, right now. Always been an individual. I've never sat duty anywhere. I've never had leads given to me from anywhere. I used to roof houses. I think everyone should go roof houses for 5 years and then get into real estate. Okay? Seriously. But anyway, I tried to build a team once, and I went through about 12 agents. And what I learned is there's two different people in the world in real estate. You're either a salesman or a manager. And a manager is a team leader or a broker, right? Or you're a salesman. You like to deal with the clients and make it happen. I'm a salesman. I'm not a manager. I love doing this for you guys, but I don't want to take you on my team and teach you one-on-one every day, all day. Okay? Because that takes time away from my clients, which is what I love. All right? So I went through about 12 agents, and what I realized is, for me, not a manager, I'm a salesman. It drove me crazy because I was spending so much time on the agents, trying to train them. I was spending so much time on agents trying to train them.
I got it.
We can plug it up to this thing.
I got it.
There's one right there.
There's a plug in the wall.
Here, give me that.
There.
But this will actually reach. Plug it up there.
I got it.
What was I saying?
What you realize.
Yeah. Like I went through 12 agents, and what I realized is that agents are either really good and they leave you quick, or they're really bad and they suck the life out of you. Okay? And I figured out after 12 agents, I didn't want nothing to do with it. So I thought, I'm going to make a big team and I'm going to go big or whatever. But I'm not a manager. I'm a salesman. So I'm like trying to sell stuff while I'm trying to build a team. That doesn't work. And if you're a manager and you want to do sales, that doesn't work because you want to manage the people. You don't want to do the sales, right? So to me, they're either one or the other. You either want to manage a team or be a broker, or you want to be a salesman.
So you just have the one assistant.
Right. And so whenever I said I'm done with the team, now I'm just going to put all that time I was spending on my agents into my clients. I'm going to invest all that time there. That is when I went number one, sell 100 properties a year, all that. I do the work. I grind every day, all day. I'm building relationships. I'm cold calling. I'm putting stuff together. I'm doing my weekly report. I do it all. My assistant processes everything. She opens the door for me to be able to where I can prospect all day and deal with my clients. I deal with my clients. She deals with everything else.
How long has she been working for you?
The one I have now is about 4 years now. She was already experienced. She was already in our market as an assistant for another broker in the area. And I snagged her. And it was the best thing I ever did. I had an assistant before her that wasn't that great. That's another thing. A bad assistant will drag you through the mud. You got to have a good one. It's better to have one that has some experience with MLS and already knows a little bit about what's going on. That's the best scenario. When you have to train an assistant all the way from scratch, it makes it really tough. When you don't have to teach them a lot, and it's a good fit, it's always a beautiful thing. But no, I've never been on a team.
So obviously your number one source of your customers comes from the phone call prospecting.
Yes, ma'am.
Outside of that, how would you rank, Facebook marketing, billboards, postcards in priority?
There's a quote by me that says, build your business over the phone, build your brand with everything else. You're not going to build your business with anything except for the phone, period. You know why real estate will never be replaced by technology? Zillow, instant offers, for salebyowner.com back in the day when everybody freaked out, all that stuff. Number one, the biggest thing is real estate's such a localized business. There's no way I could come to Atlanta and represent a buyer or seller. Okay? I sell more property than anyone in Baldwin County out of any company, RE/MAX or anywhere. There's no way, even with all the experience I have in 15 years, I could not come to Atlanta and represent a buyer or seller. I could barely go to Robertsdale, which is about 15 minutes north of us. Okay? I don't know the market in Robertsdale, even though it's 15 minutes away. I would represent them, but I would have to do a lot of research to figure out what's going on up there. It's part of my MLS, so I can look at that. But let's just say Mobile, which I'm not a part of the Mobile MLS. There's no way I would have to refer out. Even me, as an experienced guy, there's no way I could do it. So each market is its own little monster. And you have to have an expert that's an expert doing it every day in that market to do a transaction. Okay? Consulting you. The only way to consult is to talk to them. Right? So how is a computer going to bypass the conversation that needs to be had? What if Zillow's estimates gets better? It sucks right now. What if it gets better? What if it gets to where the seller can price their property right and all that stuff? Well, are we going to lose some business? Maybe. Maybe. But there's people already selling their houses by owner. There's people selling the properties by owner on Zillow right now. There's a for sale by owner thing. Like, the instant offers is y'all know what that is. That's investors, like 14 of them or something, that are making lowball offers on properties, and then the seller decides to list it with an agent or not, or whatever. But a long time ago, there's already a for sale by owner part of Zillow. I have owners, clients that have sold their property on Zillow for sale by owner. Okay? But I still made more money this year than I made last year, and more money, even though all this technology is happening. I haven't lowered my commission at all. I was getting 6% when I started in 2002. I still get 6% today. It hasn't even cut into my commission, all this technology stuff. Where was I going with all this? What question?
Postcards.
Oh, all the other stuff. So what I'm getting at is the phone call. You build your business over the phone, right? Because there has to be a conversation. There has to be a relationship. There has to be a consultation about the market. And even if there was something that come along that made it real easy for people to sell by owner, a lot of people still don't want to deal with it. You know, I'm not going to do plumbing of my house. I'm going to call a plumber. There's some things that I don't want to do. Well, there's a lot of people that don't want to deal with negotiating and writing contracts and all the legal stuff. LegalZoom didn't take out lawyers. They're still around. Fidelity didn't take out stockbrokers, right? And that's a far bigger level of making everything easier in those industries. So you can't build your business any other way than talking to people. And the best way to talk to people on a massive level, the cheapest to talk to the most people, is over the phone, because you can dial one after another right here in your office. You can go door knocking, but you could call 100 people before you talk to 20 or 30 door knock people. I mean, that's not a bad gig if that's your thing, door knocking. That's anything talking to people is good. You have to figure out what you're good at. Are you a door knocker? Are you a phone call guy? Are you you might be great at for sale by owners. I'm not against it if that's what you're good at, and you're at the level you want to be, dealing with for sale by owners and expireds. I want you to do it if that's what your thing is. Everybody's different. You have to figure out what your thing is. But whatever your thing is has to involve talking to people on a massive level. So building your business over the phone is the most important part of real estate. And then you build your brand with everything else. So to me, with everything else, Facebook, billboards, postcards, letters, all the other stuff that I do, all that stuff's just to build my brand. It's just I have the conversation with them, and then I solidify that, because then now they see me everywhere. So I don't use Facebook to get leads. I use it to build my brand. I post 3 times a day on my business page, and then I'll boost posts to my clients. I'll boost posts to people in my area. I'll boost posts to local agents, right? I spend a lot of money on Facebook building my brand. I'm not doing it to get leads. I just want people to see my name, to see that I'm working. Facebook's a way that you can prove to the world how hard you work and how consistent you are. If they look at your business page, you haven't posted in 3 days, they're like, what has he been doing for 3 days? But if they see 3 posts a day of videos, listings, articles, cool pictures, stuff like that, they're going to say, this guy's working. It's going to solidify the fact that you're a hard worker and you're consistent. Colin?
Hey, I'm Colin Krieger. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi. This is my vacation. Wow. So I met him last year. I've known Holly for a year and a half, I guess, and I'm her #1 Lead Street fan. And the reason I like him is because he works. I'm going to go see
We'll
my
talk to you
family.
soon, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Yeah. See you,
Thanks,
buddy.
man.
Good guy. Real good guy. So, kind of threw me off.
You're building your brand on Facebook.
Yeah.
with the number of posts.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. It was really good.
Everyone boosts it to your clients.
Yeah. Oh. This is something technical you guys can get out of this, right? You can take, when you get people's email addresses and you've built this huge email database, okay? You can take those emails and plug them into Facebook as a custom audience, okay? And create a custom audience. Everybody knows this already. Create a custom audience of just your clients. And now when you boost a post, you can name it clients or whatever. And now when you boost a post, you can click that. Does everybody know this?
What was that part? I missed the beginning.
You can have an email list of all your clients, and then you can plug those into Facebook as a custom audience.
Okay.
And then every Facebook account that's linked to one of those email addresses, it'll put them into an audience for you. Where now when you boost posts, you can click if you want it to go to those people.
Okay.
Out of the 10,000 people I have, it found 7,600. So I have a custom audience on Facebook of 7,600 clients that are my clients that get my weekly reports already, and I'll boost posts just to them. So they're getting my weekly report and they're getting Facebook boost, right? Then I took all the agents in my area, all their emails, and I plugged them in and made another custom audience, Baldwin agents. Now if I want to boost my listing, something like that, or an open house or something, if there's something that I want agents in my area to see on their Facebook feed, I can boost just to them. There's things you can do there that's real creative, but I don't do it to get leads. I know nothing about getting leads on Facebook. My leads, I don't want those leads. I want the highest quality leads, which are property owners. And I'm going to call them. I'm going to create these long-term relationships with them. I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to end up with a large email address. And I'm going to run into all kinds of people that want to buy and sell now if I'm doing it the way I'm supposed to do it. So I'm making money now while I'm building my business for the future. It's like college. You pay to learn. You pay all this money to go learn. In real estate, you get paid to learn. As you're going through this process of developing your database and building this clientele, you're going to do these little deals along the way. On your way up to the top, you're getting paid and you're learning. So it's the opposite of college. I went to college for 2 years. I went to 4 different schools.
In 2 years?
Yeah. Each semester was a different school. And I failed a history class, University of Alabama, and thought, this college thing ain't for me. So I took the real estate class at Shelton State, which is next to Tuscaloosa. And then the guy teaching the class, the first thing he said is you pass this class, you got a year to take the test. Once you pass the test, you got 90 days to find somewhere to work. And right then I said, this is moving way too fast for me. I don't even know if I want to do this. I was scared to death. I didn't want to commit to anything. And so I passed the class like a 70. I passed it by 1 point. And then I didn't want to take the test. So I went back home, got back on a roof, did that for I think 2.5 days, and at lunchtime that third day I was like, Dad, I think I'm going to go take that test. So I went and took the test. Long story short, and it took me 8 months to make my first sale. So when I started the team, I thought, if they don't sell anything in 6 months, then I don't know if I have much use for them. And I'm thinking back, well, I would have fired myself. It took me 8 months to sell something. So, I did bring books for everybody. Anybody that doesn't have a book, you can have it for free. I'll sign them or whatever you want to do. I care nothing about you guys signing up for my coaching thing. It doesn't matter to me at all. It is as cheap as $50 a month, $47 a month.
You have a Facebook group, though.
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, you can go there and join the Facebook group. Like,
What's your
okay, here's
live? Is it every Thursday? Or?
I do a live show every Thursday or Friday. You can go right here. Here's the Facebook group. And then here's actually like the into the website. Right here, I've got private videos. This was a one-on-one coaching session I had, making phone calls with a coaching guy out of Tallahassee. This is how and why I do my weekly report. I actually go step by step in Constant Contact and show you, do a screenshot and show you exactly how I do it and why I do it. This is if you were to do for sale by owners. This is things to think about before you make calls, how to use my scripts, how I built my business. This is what I'm really proud of, this little area, because this 90-day action plan is exactly how I set up my. This is if I could lay it out exactly how to build the foundation of a business to sell 100 properties a year in 5 years. This is it. It breaks it all, Peter, Paul. So anyway, I'm also, if you guys are interested, starting Monday, I'm starting this 30-day Jumpstart program. You can go to zerododynamite.com/jumpstart. And it's going to be a group coaching call once a week, starting Monday, every Monday. And it is going to be something else. But don't care if you guys sign up for anything. It's not why I'm here. I just want to help people. So I have business cards and I have my book. If you ever have any questions or anything, just call me or email me or text me. You guys are all like best friends to me now. And if you get down to the coast, if you go down there on vacation, hit me up. Let's go have lunch. Let's hang out. Let's go have lunch, dinner, or whatever. You can come down with Mark. He's coming down in like 3 or 4 weeks.
28.
All right. We'll just do a big caravan.